This tutorial is to review how to use the equation for speed. Now, speed is equal to the rate at which an object moves. And our equation is v, which represents speed or velocity, is equal to distance divided by time. We're going to look at a couple of examples following our steps that we have given equation substitution and solution. So here's our first example. A stock car travels at 20.8 seconds around the track. If the track measures a distance of 1,600 meters, how fast was the stock car traveling? So let's identify our given information. What are we given? We're given a number of 20.8 seconds. Well, 20.8 seconds is a factor of time because seconds is what we measure time in. We're given another number, which is 1,600 meters, which is our distance. Distance is equal to 1,600 meters, meters being our standard international unit for distance. And at the end, it's asking us how fast was the stock car traveling, which really is talking about the velocity at which this car goes around the track. So I've got my given information and what I'm looking for. Now let's rewrite our equation. We're using the equation d is over t is equal to v. Velocity is equal to distance divided by time. So in our substitution part, we're going to literally replace numbers for letters if we have numbers for those letters. So if we see we have a number for t, so we're going to put it there, and we have a number for d. So when I rewrite this, it's going to look like v is equal to 1,600 meters, just the way the equation had it, and it's going to be 20.8 seconds on the bottom. So velocity is equal to 1,600 meters divided by that time factor of 20.8. And if we manipulate our calculator, we're going to see that this value is 76.9. Now, just writing a number alone is not enough. We have to include units in order for us to give people the indication of what these distance and time was measured in. So we would have to include, obviously, our meters and our seconds because the distance was measured in meters and we divided it by our time factor of seconds. Hence, we get meters per second. So to completely finish, we put V, identifying what that number was for, 76.9, and that meters per second tells us that the distance measured was in meters and the time factor was in seconds. A second example I'm going to give you, following the same process, is going to be looking for something a little bit different. So example number 2, we're going to be looking at if you run at a race at an average velocity of 1.8 meters per second, how far will you have traveled or run after 90 seconds? So we're going to again implement the same idea here. And we're going to identify everything that we have. We have an average velocity of 1.8 meters per second. In other words, the velocity for this problem is 1.8 meters per second. We also have a time factor here because after 900 seconds, I want to know what total distance I traveled. So my time factor is 900 seconds. So what I'm looking for is how far, meaning the distance. How far did I go after that time frame? So we have our given information. Our equation is still the same one. V is equal to d over t. And now we can replace our numbers if we have them. I have a value for v, 1.8. So instead of writing the v, I'm going to write that number. And I continue writing my equal sign because that's what it says on my equation. Do I have a value for d? No, that's what I'm looking for, so I'm going to just place the d there. Now, at the bottom is supposed to be my t value. Well, I have a value for t, that is 900 seconds. So I'm going to replace that number at the bottom. So we can see that we have a value for V, a value for T, and now we're trying to solve for that value of D, distance. So here, in order for me to get D alone, I need to get rid of the 900. The easiest way to do that is to multiply both sides by 900, because if I do it to one side of the equal sign, I must do it to the other. So I'm going to multiply both sides, and that cancels out that one that was on the D side. So I can rewrite my equation, D is equal to 900 seconds times 1.8 meters per second, which is my velocity. So if I do my calculations in my calculator, I should get, hold on a second, let me verify, 1,620 meters. That's how far I would have run in my run if I was going 1.8 meters per second for 900 seconds. I would have traveled 1,620 meters.